Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willowbound Journals, and for today's video I will be sharing a look at all of the journals that I used in 2024 and how I used them. Here is a look at some of the main ones on my desk, plus a glimpse of some of the journals that aren't quite fitting into frame. I will do a bit of a flip through of all of them and hope that this video is inspiring and maybe motivates you to start journaling this year or get back into it. Or try a new journaling style. It's so fun. I absolutely love journaling, as you can tell. I'm going to start with my two main journals that I used throughout 2024. This is my daily journal, and it is a Daphne's Diary planner that Daphne's Diary actually so kindly sent to me. So a huge thank you to them. I used it as my daily journal because it has the little boxes with each day. And because it's not that much room, I just wrote a star point list in each box of what I did each day. Now, I didn't do this every single day, but I did try to backfill as many days as I could, but if I left it too long, I would forget what I did on a certain day, or some days I didn't do that much, so some of the boxes were left a bit blank, but that's okay, because in those empty spaces, it was the perfect place to add photos. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of photos in this journal. I used it like a memory book inspired by Tiffany Julia. So all of my photos from the year are pretty much in this journal. And that way it's like a photo album for 2024. And I also include other things too, like ephemera that I picked up throughout the year, packaging, some business cards and some happy mails that people sent me, stickers, ephemera, die cuts, all that sort of thing. Sticky notes on that page. There's little notes that people wrote to me. Just all fun things tucked into the pages that remind me of the year and that really fill out the year. So when I look back at this journal in 5, 10, 20 years time, it will really be a snapshot of my year, and I will be glad that I kept it. So there are a few pages still at the back that I do need to fill in. I filmed this video back in December, so I have to fill in a few more pages, print out a few extra photos from the end of the year. But once I do all of that, I will definitely share a final in-depth flip through of this journal. So you can see there's those blank pages. So I do need to fill in my Christmas journaling, of course, and my trip to Melbourne as well. So yeah, still got a few extra things to tuck into that journal. Now this is my yearly journal. It might look a bit different to what you've seen throughout the year, because this was actually my yearly journal for most of the year, this fabric cover journal that has 6 signatures. I ended up only filling up 3 signatures, so that's why I took them out of that cover and put them into this cover. Both of these covers I made and fell in love with and couldn't part with. So I was amazed actually that the pages fit from that fabric cover journal to this one. It was just a wonderful coincidence that they fit. And what I did with the yearly journal, because I already had my daily journal, I found that I didn't really use my yearly journal that much. I used it to do an overview of each month with these little monthly pages that I created, where there's a spot for a photo of the month, a spot for the events of the month, the highlights, and there's also a spot for notes, but I just use that to write down a list of all the books that I read each month. And then on the opposite page, I included lots of photos from the month. If there were a lot of events or big things happening in a particular month, I might go over a double page spread on the next page. For example, when I was in my friend's wedding, that obviously was a huge event, and so lots of photos and lots of things to document, so that one went over a few pages. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty much just recording, the milestones, the big events from the year. There's a little bit of double up with my daily journal, obviously, but my daily journal has all the photos, all the things, whereas this one, it's just the big events. Again, this one, I still have to fill in my Christmas journaling and my trip to Melbourne. And again, I'll do an in-depth flip through of that once I have finished it. This was actually a journal that I was using for the Unfurling Journal course by Tiffany Julia, but I transferred it into this fabric cover journal that I'm about to show you. These are all the journals now that I used for courses that I took. I always love taking journaling courses because that's how I sort of fill up my creative well, and it's how I get inspired, and it's how I grow and learn new creative techniques. And so this one was for the Unfurling Journal course, the first course that I took throughout 2024. And I'll leave all these links down below for you to check out. Tiffany Julia is one of my favorite journalers. I love her YouTube channel. And I always knew as soon as she released her Unfurling course that I would take it because she'd been talking about it for a while. And I love her prompts, especially her creative self-portrait prompts. I've really been getting back into photography, and I would love to actually take a photography course. I didn't finish that whole entire course, but it got me through what I needed and really inspired me with, photography. Now this journal is actually one of my absolute all-time favorite journals that I've ever completed. I took Colleen Atara's Lost and Found course, and it's sort of rustic. It's more scrappy, more intuitive, this course, more arty, more mixed media, and I totally loved it. It's for my eyes only, so I'm not really sharing much of a flip through of these next three journals just because they were for my eyes only, for me to process some things. And I do have a flip through of this journal and the other journal over on my Patreon. That is where I share some more personal flip throughs and behind the scenes videos, as well as the journal making series and printables and all of that kind of thing. So if you want to check that out, feel free to check out the link down below in the description box to my Patreon. And this one, I'm still going with this one. I haven't finished it, but I just found that I love these three journals. They're sort of a collection of three in the same style, this sort of loose, rustic, scrappy art journal style where I can just let my thoughts out. And it's just very therapeutic, those journals. And they very much inspired my Reflections journal course that I am teaching. So now those are the journals that I took courses from other people. The next journals that I'm going to share are journals that I filled up for courses that I have been teaching. So this one is the current course that I'm teaching, the Reflections Altered Book Journal course. So if you're interested in this one, it is $50. And there are lots and lots of videos sharing my process from start to finish, showing how I prepare this altered book, how I gather materials for it, and how I fill up the pages with a prompt list, and I help you create your own master list so that you can document 2024. Because I always like to, at the end of the year, just reflect on the year, process it. It helps me to process it, basically. It helps me to move on from it, let go of it, learn all I can from it, and say goodbye to it, really, so that I can start fresh the next year, set my intentions, set my goals, and really think about how I want to live in 2025. So before I can do any of that, I need to reflect on the year. And it's just a great little journal as well. It's like a summary of the year, all in one place, in a very creative way, very mixed media, very arty, very intuitive. This has been my favorite course that I've taught so far, actually. I am super proud of it. I absolutely love it, and I hope that you love it too. Now this course, if you're looking for a free course, this one is available on my channel for you to take at any time. It is a faith journal course where we made a journal from start to finish, and we identified the negative self-talk that can spiral in our heads, the lies that can cycle around in there, and then identified some I am statements from scriptures that can help us replace those lies with words of truth, with words of life that can uplift us and encourage us. So I kind of think of this Faith Art Journal course as the basic course, beginner's course to the Reflections Journal course. The Reflections Journal course is a more advanced journal course where we have a lot more different creative techniques that we use. And yeah, it's just really fun. Moving on to the final course that I taught in 2024, which was the Everything Journal course. And it was a year-long journal course. So my biggest course that I've ever taught. There were about 2 video prompts a week where I shared my process with a creative prompt. And then there were 2 Zoom calls per month where we did some creative exercises together in real time, face-to-face through Zoom. And we did some journaling prompts together. And yeah, it was so great. I absolutely loved it. Had a blast. So taking you through this flip through of my Everything Journal, where you get to look at all the prompts. And the idea with this course is that we're just trying all the different things, different materials, different techniques, perhaps getting out of our comfort zone with some things, but just learning what we like, learning what we don't like, learning what things we want to take into our creativity going forward. I learned, different techniques that I want to do for my next books that I want to publish. In fact, a lot of the techniques that I used in this Everything Journal, I did use for my current book that I have published called Lamp in Dark Places. So I wanted to pass on some of those techniques with the people taking this course. And I tried some new techniques as well, which also made their way into my book. But since I did publish it last year, not all of those techniques made it into that book. So I'm going to bookmark those and use them for my next book. For example, that page will be going into my next book. So yeah, it was a really, really fun course where it helped us to just be able to create throughout the year to combat those perhaps creative slumps or creative ruts where we're lacking in inspiration. The idea, there's 2 prompts every week pretty much, and there's 2 Zoom calls every month. So even if it's just 2 minutes a day creating a week, that's enough to keep those creative juices flowing. And what I find is that if I do something creative, if I journal once a week, it's made my week better. So that's what I'm trying to pass on with all my journaling courses. I'm just trying to help people to journal so that it can make them feel better. That's what journaling is for me. It makes me feel better. So now this is my creative exercise book. So for the Zoom calls, I did all my creative exercises in here. Later on in the year, I also started teaching creative workshops, which was one of my absolute highlights of the year, and I will be definitely taking those in to 2025. So if you're interested, I will be running some creative workshops throughout 2025, where I start off with an inspiring quote that we discuss, and then we move on to a creative exercise, and then onto some reflective journaling prompts that reflect on that exercise so we can glean some lessons from it and learn from what we've created. And all my workshops are about self-discovery and self-connection and well-being and helping us to just be inspired and creative, live inspired and creative lives. So yeah, that is my creative exercise book. A lot of those will also appear in future books, I reckon, that I publish. Very, very helpful. I found those. I learned a lot of things through that journal. This journal is just like a personal one for me, where I write my notes, where I collect my quotes that I share in the workshops, where I collect all the creative exercises that I come up with, and the journaling prompts as well. All right, moving on to the next journals. I journal a lot. So these are just some sort of miscellaneous journals. Here's my reading journal, which I didn't keep up with I'm really not sure if I will continue it, but I really like how I've used it, where I record all the books that I read and just take note of any lessons that I learned from them, any insights that I gleaned, any thoughts. But yeah, then I kind of stopped. So I'm not sure what to do. I kind of want to keep on recording my thoughts about books, but not necessarily a whole page. Even if it's just one sentence about a book, that's enough. And I think I want to do that in my normal journal that I use rather than in a separate reading journal. But I do like having a list of all the books I read. That's handy. So I do want to keep doing that. But yeah, I'll consider what I do with that, if I use it in 2025, or I don't know. I can always go back to it at any time. So that will stay on my shelf. This is one of my favorite journals. It's more in the art journal style, but more of the polished style. So whereas my other art journals are a bit more rustic, a bit more scrappy, this one is a bit more polished, where I'm thinking more about composition and design and layout. And the pages, are just a bit more put together and more beautiful. More beautiful in terms of aesthetically pleasing. I actually think my scrappy art journals are the most beautiful things, because I find that the most beauty comes from when we're just real and raw, even if it's not aesthetically pleasing. So yeah, but sometimes I do like to create beautiful pages, like visually beautiful pages as well. So I guess this journal was an outlet for that. And it's just a journal where I pretty much recorded a bit of a mix. Lessons I learned, insights that I got, major memories, things I wanted to remember, and sometimes just thoughts and feelings I wanted to get out. So a mix of different things. This one, actually, I did take another course. It was a very short course though. It was 6 lessons, and it was by Louis Rossignol, and it was called Sketchbooking. So this was one of the pages for that course. This is another one, these 2 pages here. And yeah, it was just a bit out of my comfort zone. This is another page for the course, because I'm not much of a drawer. I mean, I used to draw when I was at school and when I was a kid, when I did art and all that kind of stuff. But this is one of my favorite pages, by the way, in this journal. I love collage. And in this journal, just became a mixture of all different things in the end, just writing, collage, random stuff. And I didn't finish it because I actually moved into this bigger journal, which is a bigger version of that journal, where basically what I did in this one was pre-decorated the pages and then fill them up with writing. I started out writing pretty regularly in it, and then I moved to writing once a week. And I had a bit of a journaling habit or routine where every Sunday I would write a reflection on my week. I'd write about what happened that week and any thoughts I was having. And yeah, as you can see, some of these pages are pre-decorated and I still have to fill them up. And I don't know, it's a very big size. It's a bit awkward being so large, A4 size, but it's the one that I've been working in the most recently and been enjoying the most. So yeah, I have been continuing to use that in 2025 because I haven't made my 2025 journal yet. And I'm still not quite sure how I want to journal in 2025. So I've just been using that journal so far. That's the only one that I've been using. So yeah, that's a look at all of the journals that I used in 2024. Going forward in 2025, I really would like to just use the one journal. I get so confused and scattered when I have 20 journals, and I would like to have everything all in one place. So I'm thinking of doing more of like a catch-all, commonplace, yearly, daily journal, all in one, reading journal, all in one, art journal, all in one. I'm not sure if that will be what I do in the end, because I always have the idea to do that and never end up doing that. I tend to read multiple books at the same time, and I tend to journal in multiple journals at the same time. That's just how I seem to go. But I'm trying to do more of a catch-all this year. So yeah, I really hope that was inspiring and maybe gave you some ideas for different ways you can journal, and hope that you find a method that works for you, because yeah, journaling, like I said, it's just so good for my well-being. I always feel better after I journal, even if it's just for 2 minutes. Sometimes I journal for 2 hours and whether it's 2 minutes or 2 hours, I always feel better. It's always worth it in the end. So yeah, those are my journals. I will share a video coming up about the journals that I plan to use in 2025, and hopefully we'll make up those journals. I've got the covers ready. I just need to figure out what pages I'll be using in those, and I don't know what pages I will put in them until I know how I use them. So I'll share a video about that, sharing those covers and my thoughts going forward as to what I think I want to do in 2025. But yeah, in the meantime, if you're wanting to take any of those courses I mentioned from Tiffany Julia, Colleen Natara, Lewis Rosignol, or any of my courses, the Faith Journal course, the Everything Journal course, the Reflections Journal course, and the upcoming Intentional Life course, which I run every year, just check all the information down in the description box below. I do believe there is a course out there for everyone, whether it's a free one or a paid one. And I just really hope you enjoyed this video, and feel free to let me know if you had a favorite journal that you saw and how you journaled in 2024.
Thank you to my beautiful, beautiful patrons who are supporting me in the month of December. You guys are absolutely amazing. I appreciate you so much and couldn't do what I do without you. If you would like to become a patron, there is a link down below in the description box. And when you become a patron, you are supporting Willow Bound Journals and this channel. And you also get access to extra videos. So the journal making series each month. If you're a Ruby patron, you get access to every printable kit from my Etsy right there over Patreon, including a new kit each month. Going up the tiers, there are mail tiers where you get sent mail to you. The highest tier is the journal tier, where you get a journal sent to you each month. So if you're interested in that, feel free to check that out. You can also become a member or buy me a coffee to support this channel if you would like.